My dad denied my raise for 3 years, even though I was running the entire company and made my golden brother the CEO 2 weeks after his graduation. So I started consulting for his competitor. They pay 5 times more, and now they're collapsing and begging me to come back. Sup, Reddit. Didn't think I'd be posting here, but my family situation has gone completely nuclear, and I need to get this off my chest. My dad spent 3 years denying me raises while I basically ran his entire company, then handed my barely graduated golden child brother the CEO position. I walked out, started consulting for their biggest competitor, and now they're hemorrhaging money and begging me to come back. Spoiler alert, that's not happening. I, 31 male, a manufacturing engineer who's been working at my father's metal fabrication company since I graduated college at 22. My younger brother Tyler, 26 male, just graduated 2 weeks ago. Took him 6 years to finish his business degree because he changed majors 3 times and failed enough classes that he had to retake them. Meanwhile, I graduated in 4 years with honors in mechanical engineering, passed my PE exam on the first try, and have been the backbone of Dad's company ever since. Let me paint you a picture of my family dynamic. Dad owns a mid-sized metal fabrication company in Ohio. Started it 30 years ago, built it from nothing. I respect that grind. What I don't respect is how he's treated me versus Tyler our entire lives. Classic golden child situation where Tyler could do no wrong and I could do no right. Growing up, Tyler was the kid who got new bikes and video game consoles for Christmas, while I got practical gifts like clothes and school supplies. Tyler got his first car bought outright at 16, a nearly new Honda Civic. I had to work all summer at a hardware store and save every penny to buy a beat-up truck with 180,000 miles on it. When Tyler totaled that Civic 2 years later driving drunk, Dad bought him another one. No consequences, no questions asked. When I asked Dad why Tyler got everything handed to him, I got the classic, "Life isn't fair, son" speech. But apparently life was plenty fair for Tyler. Sports equipment, expensive clothes, spring break trips, Tyler got it all. I learned real quick that the way to get anything from Dad was to work for it. So that's what I did. I worked my ass off in high school, got a full ride to Ohio State for engineering. Tyler barely graduated high school, went to community college first because his grades weren't good enough for a 4-year school, then transferred to a state university where he proceeded to party his way through a 6-year undergraduate degree on Dad's dime. Dad paid his tuition, his rent, his car, everything. Meanwhile, my full ride still required money for housing and food, which I covered by working part-time at a machine shop. The favoritism didn't stop when we became adults. It got worse. When I graduated and started working for Dad's company, I thought finally, I could prove my worth. I started as a junior engineer making $45,000 a year. Not great for an engineer with a degree, but it was family business, and Dad promised me opportunities to grow. I believed him because I was naive and still wanted his approval. I jumped in with both feet, learned every machine in that shop, spent nights redesigning workflows to improve efficiency, studied lean manufacturing principles and Six Sigma methodology on my own time. Within 6 months, I'd reduced our scrap rate by 23% and cut production time on our most common parts by 15%. That translated to about $300,000 in annual savings for a company pulling in roughly $8 million a year in revenue. Dad's response to my first annual review? "Good work, son. Keep it up. No raise, no bonus. Just a pat on the back." Year 2, I developed a new process for our aluminum extrusion line that increased capacity by 30% without additional capital investment. Designed and implemented a quality control system that virtually eliminated customer complaints. We landed 2 major contracts specifically because clients were impressed by our quality metrics and delivery times, both things I'd personally overhauled. Our revenue jumped to $10.5 million. Annual review time. "Really proud of what you're doing here, but we need to watch expenses right now. Maybe next year. Still making $45,000. I asked about at least matching market rate for engineers with my experience. Dad said family business meant sometimes making sacrifices. Meanwhile, Tyler was in college posting Instagram stories from bars and music festivals, failing Intro to Business Economics for the second time. Year 3. Our company landed the biggest contract in its history, $2.3 million deal with an automotive supplier. I wrote the proposal. I designed the custom tooling. I project managed the entire thing from start to finish. We delivered ahead of schedule and under budget. The client was so impressed they signed a 3-year extension worth another $7 million total. I also trained 3 new engineers Dad hired, upgraded our CAD systems, and spent 6 months negotiating with suppliers to reduce our material costs by 12%. Revenue hit $12.8 million. Annual review. You're really valuable to this company. Essential, really. I asked for a raise to $65,000. Still below market rate, but closer. Dad hemmed and hawed, said cash flow was tight because of expansion costs, then suggested that if I really needed more money, maybe I should cut back on frivolous spending. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment and drove a 10-year-old truck. My frivolous spending was a gym membership and occasionally buying lunch instead of packing it. But sure, Dad, I was the problem. That same month, Dad bought Tyler a new F-150 as a college graduation gift. Tyler hadn't even finished yet, still had 1 semester left. The truck cost $48,000, more than I'd made in a year. I started seriously questioning my life choices. Year 4. I'm essentially running operations at this point. Dad's in his early 60s and semi-retired, spending most of his time golfing and traveling with Mom. The company is humming along at peak efficiency. We're up to $14.2 million in revenue with 18% profit margins, well above industry standard. I'm overseeing 12 employees, managing multiple major client relationships, and handling everything from production scheduling to strategic planning. I finally put my foot down. Market rate for a manufacturing engineer with my experience and responsibilities in Ohio is $85,000 to $95,000. I was still making $45,000. For context, some of the guys running CNC machines were making more than me. I wrote up a detailed proposal outlining my contributions, included comparisons to industry salary data, and requested $80,000. Still on the lower end, but reasonable. Dad's response? This feels like you're holding the company hostage. After everything we've given you, we hadn't given me anything. I'd earned every dollar. I'd transformed his company from a decent small business into a genuinely competitive mid-size manufacturer. But pointing that out got me nowhere. That's when Tyler graduated. Finally. 6 years, 2 major changes, 3 failed semesters that required retakes, and a 2.4 GPA later, he had a bachelor's degree in business administration. His crowning achievement was apparently not getting expelled. 2 weeks after graduation, Dad called a company meeting, announced Tyler would be joining the team as chief operating officer, would be learning the business from top to bottom before taking on a leadership role. The COO title was complete bullshit. Tyler didn't know the difference between a lathe and a mill, couldn't read a blueprint, had never managed anyone or anything. But there he was, strutting into the office in his new suits, acting like he'd earned something. His starting salary? $75,000. Plus company car. Plus performance bonuses tied to metrics I'd established and was maintaining. Tyler was making more than me on day one, despite having 0 experience and 0 contribution to the company's success. I kept my mouth shut. Figured maybe Tyler would surprise everyone. Maybe he'd actually work hard and prove himself. Maybe Dad would finally see that merit should matter more than birth order. I was wrong on all counts. Tyler spent his first month learning the business by showing up at 10 a.m., taking 2-hour lunches, and leaving by 3 p.m. He'd walk through the shop occasionally, interrupt people working to ask basic questions that showed he hadn't bothered to read any of the materials I'd prepared for him, then disappear back to his office to scroll through his phone. The few times he tried to contribute ideas, they were disasters. He wanted to switch suppliers to save 3% on steel without understanding that the cheaper supplier had quality control issues that would cost us 10 times that in rework and scrap. He suggested streamlining our inspection process, meaning eliminating critical quality checks, because it slowed things down. He tried to promise a client a delivery timeline that was physically impossible, and I had to spend hours explaining manufacturing constraints to both him and the very angry client. I was working 60-hour weeks cleaning up Tyler's messes while he collected his paycheck and took credit for anything that went right. Month 2 of Tyler's employment, I asked Dad for a meeting, laid it all out. My contributions over 4 years, my below-market salary, Tyler's lack of contribution and higher compensation. I requested $80,000 again, which was $5,000 less than Tyler was making despite my 4 years of experience and proven results. Dad's response, Tyler needs time to find his footing. You need to be patient and supportive. This is about family legacy. I asked point blank what I needed to do to earn a fair salary. Dad got uncomfortable and said, sometimes being part of a family business means making sacrifices. Tyler's going to run this company someday. You should be happy being part of building something bigger than yourself. There it was. Tyler's leadership role wasn't some distant future plan. It was already decided. I could work myself to death improving the company, but Tyler would inherit the kingdom I'd built. That night, I updated my resume for the first time in 4 years. 3 weeks later, Dad called another company meeting. My stomach dropped before he even started speaking because I knew what was coming. Tyler was being promoted to CEO. Dad would remain chairman, but Tyler would handle day-to-day operations and strategic direction. Tyler had worked there for exactly 2.5 months. He still couldn't explain what half our machines did. He'd yet to successfully complete a single project or initiative. His strategic direction consisted of implementing Pizza Fridays and suggesting we get a company ping pong table. But there he stood, grinning like an idiot while Dad talked about fresh perspectives and new generation leadership and carrying on the family legacy. Not once did Dad mention the 4 years I'd spent transforming the company. Not once did he acknowledge my contributions. After the meeting, several employees came to me privately. They were worried. They knew Tyler was incompetent. They knew I was the one actually running things. They wanted to know what this meant for them. I told them I'd let them know soon. That night, I sat in my shitty apartment and made a choice. I'd spent 4 years chasing Dad's approval, working for below-market wages, building his company while he groomed Tyler to take credit for it all. I was done. I called Mark Chen. Mark runs the biggest manufacturing consulting firm in the Midwest. His company, Apex Manufacturing Solutions, works with mid to large manufacturers to optimize operations, implement new technologies, and solve complex engineering challenges. We'd crossed paths at a few industry conferences, and he'd mentioned multiple times that if I ever wanted to leave Dad's company, he'd be interested in talking. We met for coffee 2 days later. I laid out my experience. The process improvements, cost reductions, quality enhancements, client relationships I'd developed. Showed him the numbers backing it all up. Mark didn't even blink. I can start you at $160,000 base salary plus quarterly performance bonuses. Most of our consultants at your level are pulling in $200,000 to $220,000 total compensation first year. You'd be traveling about 40%, working with clients on projects ranging from 3 months to 2 years. We'll train you on implementation methodologies, project management, client relations, basically everything you've been doing, but with actual recognition and proper compensation. 5 times what Dad was paying me, plus bonuses, plus actual growth opportunities, plus working with competent people instead of cleaning up after Tyler. I accepted on the spot. 2 weeks' notice felt too generous, but I wanted to leave professionally. I typed up my resignation letter that night. Short and sweet. Effective 2 weeks from today, I'm resigning from my position. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll ensure a smooth transition of my responsibilities. I didn't mention the pay disparity. Didn't mention Tyler. Didn't mention the 4 years of watching Dad hand everything to his golden child while treating me like hired help. Just clean and professional. Handed it to Dad the next morning. He read it, set it down, and asked, "Is this about money?" "It's about fair compensation for fair work," I said. "I've been running operations here for years at entry-level pay, while you promoted Tyler to CEO after 2 months. I found somewhere that values my contributions." Dad's face went red. "After everything this family has done for you." "What did this family do for me?" I interrupted. "I worked here for 4 years, transformed your operations, and got 0 raises. Tyler worked here for 2 months, contributed nothing, and got made CEO. Don't talk to me about family." He tried the guilt trip, the loyalty speech, the "you're being selfish" routine. I'd heard it all before. This time, I didn't care. 2 weeks, I said. I'll document everything I can. After that, good luck. Those 2 weeks were hell. Dad alternated between trying to guilt me into staying and being passive-aggressively hostile. Tyler acted like I'd personally betrayed him by leaving. He actually said, "How am I supposed to run things if you're not here?" That's when I realized Tyler thought I'd always be there. The plan was never for Tyler to learn the business. The plan was for Tyler to have the title and salary while I did all the actual work. I was supposed to be his shadow COO, the guy who made him look good while he collected the credit and compensation. Not anymore. My last day, I handed over documentation on every major system, process, and client relationship. I spent an hour with Tyler trying to explain critical things he needed to know. He kept checking his phone and saying, yeah, I got it," to things he clearly didn't get. I shook hands with the shop floor guys who'd become friends over the years. They knew what was up. A few of them asked if I was hiring wherever I was going. I told them to keep in touch. Dad didn't even bother saying goodbye. Tyler gave me this smug look like I was making a mistake and he'd be fine without me. I walked out of that building for the last time with a weird mix of emotions. Relief, mostly. Some sadness. But mostly just this incredible lightness. like I'd finally dropped a weight I'd been carrying since childhood. Started at Apex Manufacturing Solutions the following Monday. First week was orientation and training. Met the team, all experienced engineers and operations specialists who actually knew their shit. My direct boss, Sarah, had a PhD in industrial engineering and 20 years of experience. She treated me like a competent professional, not a free labor source. My first project was with a Tier 1 automotive supplier, having major quality control issues. Spent 3 months on-site diagnosing problems, redesigning their inspection protocols, and training their team. Client was thrilled. Renewed for a follow-up project immediately. My first quarter bonus alone was $18,000, more than a third of what Dad paid me annually. The work was challenging and rewarding. I was learning constantly, working with cutting-edge manufacturing technology, solving complex problems for clients who actually appreciated the solutions. And I was making real money for the first time in my adult life. Meanwhile, I'd hear things through industry contacts about Dad's company. Nothing direct, just whispers at conferences, comments from suppliers. Things weren't going great. Month 3 after I left, I ran into one of Dad's suppliers at a trade show. He mentioned they were having issues getting timely responses on orders. Lots of confusion about specifications. Projects running behind schedule. Month 5, a former colleague texted me. Said they'd lost 2 major clients. One because Tyler promised an impossible delivery timeline, and they missed it by 6 weeks. Another because quality issues had crept back in and they'd shipped defective parts. Month 6, I got a LinkedIn message from Janet, Dad's longtime office manager. She'd quit. Said the place was chaos. Tyler was making terrible decisions. Dad was rarely there anymore, and nobody knew what they were doing. 3 of the senior shop guys had left for competitors. Morale was in the toilet. I felt a little bad. Not for Dad or Tyler, they'd made their choices. But for the good people still working there who were suffering because of incompetent leadership. Month 8, Apex landed a major contract with one of Dad's biggest competitors, Precision Metalworks. They wanted to implement the exact same lean manufacturing and quality control systems I developed at Dad's company. The owner, Bill Stevens, specifically requested me for the project after hearing about my background. The money was incredible, $230,000 total compensation for the year. But more than that, I was helping Precision Metalworks become a more formidable competitor to Dad's company. We were implementing systems that would let them deliver faster, cheaper, and higher quality than Dad's shop could match in its current state. I'm not going to pretend I didn't take some satisfaction in that. 4 years of being treated like disposable labor, and now I was helping their competition eat their lunch. Month 10, things got interesting. I was on site at Precision Metalworks when my phone started blowing up. Dad, Tyler, even Mom, who'd barely spoken to me since I left, all calling and texting urgently. I ignored them. Whatever crisis they had wasn't my problem anymore. The voicemail started rolling in. Dad, we need to talk. It's about the company. Call me as soon as possible. Tyler. Dude, seriously, we're in trouble here. You need to come back. Mom. Please call your father. He's very stressed. I finally listened to one of Dad's messages. His voice was strained, almost panicked. Son, we've got serious problems. Lost 3 major clients this quarter. We're hemorrhaging money. Tyler's trying, but he needs help. Your help. We can work something out. Please call me. I deleted it and went back to work. The calls kept coming. I blocked Dad and Tyler's numbers, changed my LinkedIn settings so they couldn't see my activity, made it clear I had zero interest in anything involving their company, but the messages found other routes. Dad started emailing me at my work address. Not sure how he got it. Long emails about legacy and family, and needing me. I set up a filter to send them straight to trash. Tyler apparently tried contacting me through Facebook, Instagram, even tried to DM me on Reddit somehow. All blocked. Mom tried the emotional manipulation route. Called me crying about how Dad was having chest pains from stress, and this was killing him. Said Tyler was working 18-hour days trying to keep things together. Begged me to at least talk to them. I texted back once. Dad chose Tyler. He chose to underpay me for 4 years while grooming Tyler to take over. This is the consequence of that choice. I'm not fixing their mistakes. Month 11, Janet messaged me again. Said the company was in real trouble. They'd burned through most of their cash reserves. Bank was getting nervous about their line of credit. They'd laid off 6 people. Rumors of bankruptcy were circulating. Tyler had apparently tried to implement some efficiency improvements that backfired spectacularly. Cut corners on quality control to save money, resulted in a massive recall, and destroyed their reputation with 2 major clients. He'd also pissed off their best suppliers by demanding payment terms they couldn't support. So now they were paying premium prices for materials. Everything I'd built, Tyler had systematically dismantled in less than a year. Part of me felt vindicated. They'd treated me like shit, assumed Tyler could just step into my role without any of my skills or knowledge, and now they were learning exactly how much I'd been holding that company together. But I also felt sad for the good people still there. The machinists who'd trained me when I first started, the shop foremen who'd always treated me with respect. They didn't deserve to lose their jobs because Dad and Tyler were incompetent. Still, not my circus anymore. Not my monkeys. Month 12, 1 year after I'd left, Bill at Precision Metalworks took me to lunch. Said he'd heard through the grapevine that my dad's company was struggling bad. Asked if I knew anything about a potential acquisition opportunity. I told him what I knew. Bill got this thoughtful look and said, "You know, if we acquired them, we'd need someone who knows that operation inside and out to integrate it properly. Someone who could salvage what's valuable and fix what's broken. Might be a VP level position. Probably $250,000 plus equity." The irony wasn't lost on me. I could potentially end up as VP of operations for the company that acquired Dad's business. Would essentially be Dad's boss. And Tyler's, if he even kept his job after an acquisition. I told Bill I'd think about it. That night, Dad called from a number I hadn't blocked. I answered without thinking. "Please don't hang up," he said immediately. His voice sounded broken. "I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I fucked up. But I'm begging you to hear me out." I stayed silent. The company's in trouble. Real trouble. We're probably going under in the next 6 months if things don't change. The bank is threatening to pull our line of credit. We've lost most of our major clients. Tyler tried his best, but he's not ready. He's not you. "No shit," I said. "I was wrong," Dad continued. "About everything. About Tyler. About you. About how I treated you all these years. You were the one who made this company successful, and I was too proud and stupid to see it. I'm sorry. 4 years too late." But I let him keep talking. "Come back," he said. "Please. Name your price, CEO position, whatever you want. We need you." "What about Tyler?" I asked. Long pause. "He'd step aside. Or work under you. Whatever needs to happen. And my salary? Whatever you want. Seriously. I'll put it in writing. You'd be running everything." I thought about it for approximately 3 seconds. "No. Please. You had 4 years to pay me fairly. 4 years to treat me like a valued employee instead of cheap labor. You chose Tyler over me at every opportunity. You chose him when you bought him cars while I drove a beater. You chose him when you paid his way through a 6-year degree while I worked through school. You chose him when you made him CEO after 2 months while denying me raises for 4 years. This is the consequence of those choices. I'm sorry. You're not sorry you treated me badly. You're sorry it didn't work out the way you planned. You're sorry Tyler couldn't magically do the job you assumed he could do, because he's your favorite. You're sorry you're losing your company. But you're not actually sorry for how you treated me. That's not... I'm making $220,000 a year now. I love my job. I work with competent people who respect me. I have real opportunities for growth. Why the fuck would I give that up to come back and save your company? Because it's family. Family is what you chose with Tyler. I'm just the guy who worked there for 4 years. Good luck with your succession plan." I hung up. He called back immediately. I blocked the number. The next day, Tyler showed up at Precision Metalworks. Security called me because he was in the lobby demanding to see me. I went down. Tyler looked like shit. Lost weight, dark circles under his eyes, wearing a wrinkled suit that looked like he'd slept in it. "You have to come back," he said. No greeting, no small talk, just desperate pleading. "I don't have to do anything," I replied. "We're going bankrupt. Dad's having chest pains. Mom's on anxiety meds. The company's falling apart. I can't..." His voice cracked. "I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Should have thought about that before you took a CEO job you weren't qualified for." "I didn't ask for this." "Dad just handed it to me. I thought you'd still be there to help me figure it out. That was the plan, wasn't it? You get the title and the money. I do the actual work. Everyone pretends you're competent. Except I left. And now you're discovering that running a company requires actual skills and knowledge." "Please," Tyler said. His eyes were wet. "I know we treated you badly. I know Dad fucked up. I fucked up. But you can't just let the company die. Think about the employees. All those people who'll lose their jobs." "I think about them constantly," I said. "That's why I connected Bill Stevens with a few of them. Precision Metalworks is hiring. The good people from Dad's shop will have jobs. They'll have better jobs, actually, at a company that isn't run by incompetent nepotism." Tyler's face went white. "You're helping them poach our employees?" "I'm helping good people find good jobs before your company implodes, and leaves them with nothing. You should thank me. You're destroying Dad's legacy. Everything he built. I built it, I interrupted. Dad started a company. I turned it into something successful. Then Dad handed it to you, and you destroyed it in less than a year. This isn't on me. What do you want? Tyler asked. Money? Equity? Name it. Just come back and fix this. I looked at my brother, the golden child who'd been handed everything our entire lives and squandered it all through sheer incompetence and entitlement. I want you to fail, I said. I want you to experience what it's like when hard work and talent don't matter because someone else gets opportunities you deserve. I want you to understand what I felt like every single day working for Dad while he treated you like royalty. I want you to fail, so maybe, you'll learn that being someone's favorite doesn't make you competent. Tyler stood there, stunned. Get out, I said, and don't come back. Security escorted him out. I went back to work. Update 1. It's been 6 months since Tyler showed up at my office. Figured I'd update this because shit has gotten even more interesting. Dad's company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy 3 months ago. Tried reorganizing, but couldn't make it work. They're in Chapter 7 liquidation now. Company assets are being sold off to pay creditors. Bill Stevens at Precision Metalworks ended up acquiring their client contracts and some of their equipment for pennies on the dollar. He offered positions to 8 of Dad's former employees, all the good ones I'd worked with. 7 accepted. The 8th retired. Tyler's unemployment didn't last long. Dad got him a job at a buddy's distribution company, entry-level logistics coordinator, $38,000 a year. Tyler's posting vague LinkedIn updates about learning the fundamentals and paying his dues like he's fucking Rocky Balboa instead of a failed CEO getting charity employment. Dad and Mom had to sell their house, moved into a condo. Dad's officially retired now, not by choice. His reputation in the industry is trashed. Word got around about how badly Tyler fucked up the company, and Dad's name is attached to that failure. The real kicker? Dad tried to blame me publicly. Started telling people I'd sabotaged the company by leaving at a critical time and feeding information to competitors. Couple of people reached out to ask about it. I responded once, publicly, on LinkedIn. Posted a straightforward timeline. 4 years of below-market salary. Tyler's promotion to CEO after 2 months. My resignation. Tyler's disasters. Company bankruptcy. Let the facts speak for themselves. Dad's post got ratioed hard. Multiple people who'd worked with me commented about my contributions. A few clients even chimed in about how quality went downhill after I left. Dad deleted his post and hasn't said anything public since. Tyler tried to reach out again last month. Email this time since I'd blocked him everywhere else. Long sob story about how he never wanted the CEO job. Dad pushed it on him. He was set up to fail, blah, blah, blah. Ended with, I'm sorry for everything. You were right about all of it. I'm trying to be better. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I didn't respond. Not because I'm being petty. Okay, maybe a little because I'm being petty, but mainly because there's nothing to say. Tyler's apology means nothing. It doesn't undo 4 years of watching him coast through life on Dad's favoritism. It doesn't undo the year he spent destroying everything I built. It doesn't undo a lifetime of being treated like I was less important than him. Some bridges you burn. Others you just watch collapse on their own. As for me, Apex promoted me to senior principal consultant, making $285,000 total comp now, managing a team of 5 consultants, working on projects with some of the biggest manufacturers in the country. Bought a house last month, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2-car garage, paid 20% down, and my mortgage is less than what Tyler's making annually at his new career. Life's pretty good when you stop waiting for other people to appreciate you and just appreciate yourself. Final update, 2 years after I left Dad's company. Time for a final update because this story has officially run its course. Dad had a heart attack 8 months ago. Not related to stress, apparently. Just shitty genetics and a lifetime of burgers. He survived, but it was a wake-up call. Mom called me from the hospital. First time we'd spoken in over a year. Your father wants to see you, she said. Please, he's asking for you. I went. Not because I'd forgiven anything, but because the man almost died and I'm not a complete monster. Found him in a hospital bed looking 20 years older than when I'd last seen him. Mom and Tyler were there. Tyler looked uncomfortable. Mom looked relieved I'd shown up. Dad tried the deathbed reconciliation speech. Apologized for everything. Said he'd been a terrible father to me. Said he'd let his favoritism blind him. Said he was proud of what I'd accomplished despite, not because of him. Cried a bit. I sat there and took it in. Thought about all the years of bullshit. All the times he'd chosen Tyler over me. All the opportunities he'd denied me while handing Tyler everything. I appreciate you saying that, I finally said. I do. But it doesn't change anything. You made your choices. I made mine. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done. I know, Dad said. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. And I'm proud of you. Should have said it years ago. Yeah, I said. You should have. That was pretty much it. Dad recovered. He and Mom are doing the retirement thing in their condo. Dad tried reaching out a few more times, but eventually stopped when I made it clear I wasn't interested in rebuilding a relationship. Tyler and I ran into each other at an industry conference 6 months ago. He's still working that logistics job, apparently doing okay at it. He walked up, awkward as hell, and said, Hey, I said back. Long pause. I really am sorry, he said. For everything. The way we treated you. The company. All of it. I know, I said. Is there any chance? No, he nodded. Yeah, I figured. For what it's worth, I tell people the truth now. About how I fucked up the company. About how you were the one who built it. I don't make excuses anymore. Good for you, I said. And I meant it, kind of. Not in a warm, fuzzy way, but in a basic human decency should be the minimum way. We didn't exchange numbers. Didn't make plans to grab coffee or catch up. Just nodded at each other and went our separate ways. I'm 33 now. Senior principal consultant at Apex. Making $340,000. Engaged to Emma, a structural engineer I met through work. She's brilliant and driven and treats me like an equal partner. We're planning a wedding for next spring. Mom asked if Dad and Tyler were invited. I said Mom was welcome. Dad and Tyler weren't. She tried the family obligation argument. I shut it down. They had a million chances to treat me like family. They chose not to. This is my wedding. Emma's family. My actual family. The people who've supported me and believed in me. Dad and Tyler don't make that list. Mom didn't push it. I think she knew better. That's where things stand. Dad's company is fully liquidated. Tyler's figuring out how to be a functional adult for the first time in his life. Dad's living with his regrets. Mom's caught in the middle but respecting my boundaries. And me? I'm building a life with someone who values me. Doing work I'm passionate about. Making money that reflects my actual worth. Living in a house I bought with money I earned. Surrounded by people who respect me. No golden child favoritism. No toxic family dynamics. No more waiting for approval that'll never come. Just peace. Finally. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.